Good morning. Welcome back to SBJ Weekend Review. I'm Keagan Holsey. To my left is Chad Holsey. How are we doing, Chad?
I am doing great. Hope everybody had a happy new year. Starting off the year great. It is day number 5 of 2026. So how do you feel about that?
Feel great.
Do you?
You have any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I made a resolution not to make any resolutions. So
I like that.
yeah.
I might try that one.
Well, and I'm okay with, having, I think you need to have some goals. I think you need to set some things in mind. I usually don't do it as like a resolution, if you will. But I have some goals for 2026. And I believe if you don't have goals, then you'll never succeed with anything. So, like if you want to be a better, boyfriend, then you set that as a goal. That's something you're striving for, something you're working toward. If you want to be a better Christian, you want to be a better child of God, that doesn't just happen by accident. I've never met anybody that goes, man, I got closer to God this year and I wasn't even trying. No, you got to put forth some effort. So yeah, I have some goals that I'm trying to accomplish this year, that I want to accomplish this year. Some just personal, some spiritual, and then just some goals for the church and what we want or what we hope that God wants. And so yeah.
But personally, like a new year doesn't inspire setting goals. That's just something that you do.
I think so.
I don't know why a holiday has to be the standpoint for that.
I think for a lot of people, it's just we're going to start something new. So if we're going to start something new, let's do it at the first of the year. But yeah, I think you can do any kind of resolution like that at any time, and you don't have to wait till the first of the year. But the good thing is, so with where we're at, we've gone through this season where starting in Halloween, where there's always candy, there's always something sweet. So if somebody who's trying to diet or trying to eat better or trying to make better choices in that department, from October till last week, man, that's a tough deal because seems to always be something laying around, right? So that part is, so hopefully then you start January, there's nothing exciting to look forward to. and we have a whole nother, 10 months before we get back around, to the, what I say, the Advent or Thanksgiving season, Halloween season, Christmas season, all those that kind of come all together. We got a while before that comes back around.
I always think about the people that start the resolution of like, I'm going to run every day. Well, it's not even worth being outside until April. It's too cold.
Yeah, right now, and running's great. I don't run outside often just because I'm a fair weather guy, and I don't want to be out there if it's raining and gross.
Well, we were just in Florida, and I packed for Florida, and it was just as cold as it was here the whole time we were there.
I heard it was like 50 degrees or something.
And the wind is what really, like where we were at, it was super windy. So it was just freezing every time we went outside. And we purposely got a house that had a pool. Nobody touched that water the whole time we were there. Nobody got near it. Yeah, it was brutal. And everybody's in shorts and stuff. And so I wasn't the only one. Everybody seemed to have forgotten that you kind of have to check the weather app before going places. Florida's not always just going to be 90 degrees.
But it was like really cold, and that just seems abnormal for it to be as cold as it was.
Yeah. Did you do something on New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve, we had a class party at the Marcinko's.
Were y'all there till midnight?
No. I don't know that anybody other than the teenagers stayed till after midnight. I think everybody else bailed pretty early. So we met at 6. We ate. We had a time of fellowship and hanging out and that kind of stuff. And then some of us were watching the football game. Some of us were playing games. Some of us were gossiping in the kitchen. So it just kind of depends on where you landed. And some people were just kind of making the rounds. They go to one room and talk for a little bit, and they go to the next room, which was great. And then we did that Kahoot, whatever that is, that we did at Aunt Amy's.
Yeah.
I put a couple of those together, and we played that. And then at that point, folks started leaving. Folks were walking out the door. So we left probably a little bit after. No, it was actually right at 10. So for us, it was about an hour and a half longer than I thought we were going to stay. So I felt like as for me and Tracy, we did really good. Of course, me and Tracy are probably the oldest two people there. So, because we do a young marriage class. So, So of course, a lot of our folks aren't really young married anymore, but we're definitely old married. We're we fit more in with the empty nesters because that's kind of the stage of life in which we're in right now. But we still had a good time. We had a lot of fun. Played some games. We got to watch Ohio State get beat, and it was fun. Good. It was, man, what
an awesome week for college football.
College football, other than Texas Tech losing, was fantastic.
Tech kind of had it coming the way they were playing. That was a terrible game.
It was not good.
But really loved watching Ohio State lose. I loved watching Alabama lose. But the real cherry on top was watching Georgia lose.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to know that.
It's just crazy to me that, Ole Miss having to beat the refs and Georgia, you got to give it to them. Most teams only have to worry about one individual group of people to beat. They had to beat two.
They had to beat everybody.
I mean, shouldn't have even gone to overtime. Brutal missed face mask call. Which I will say, first half, refs were being a little unfair to Georgia, but then at the whole last half was just stupid.
Got ugly.
And Trinidad played a phenomenal. That's the best I've ever seen him look. It was incredible. Every pass he threw was golden.
Good.
It was an awesome game, and so it makes me happy.
And actually, I'll be honest with everybody. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it out loud. I know most people listening right now don't care. I'm jumping on the old Miss bandwagon.
I am too.
I'm totally jumping. That's where I'm going to be for the rest of the year.
I am sad that Kiffin won't be there for it.
Oh, I'm not.
Because I love Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I don't care. I like the guy. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Well, he still made $500,000 with that win.
Yeah.
So he's not even there, and he's still making bank. So
no, I mean, it's the team he built is winning. It's not like the new coach is the reason that they won. It's what Lane Kiffin had created.
Well, all I can say is the new coach has won 2 playoff games, and Kiffin's won none. So let's go new coach.
Lane Kiffin won playoff games. Did they go to the playoffs last year? Really?
No. He still has not won a playoff game.
I thought they were good last year. I know they went to.
They were good. They just didn't make the playoffs.
2 years ago, they went to a bowl game that I was at.
Yep.
Anyways, good week for college football. I was at I was on a bachelor trip that ended with a wedding, which I thought was interesting. Because for Alex's bachelor trip, it was months before the wedding. But New Year's Eve, the bridesmaids just came over to our house and we just watched the football game. That was literally all we did.
Did y'all watch any of the Texas game?
So we were at a movie when Texas had first started, watching the new Avatar movie, and I had the Texas game going on my phone in my lap, and I was watching, and Texas got the dub.
Man, it was Arch played out of his mind.
Yeah, and his receivers were sucking.
Well, he played out of his mind. He played so
I mean, that's a solo win for Arch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, and he's getting so much better, and he's improved so much. I'm excited about next year, and I've had a lot of Alabama, Georgia fans not so excited about next year. They're worried about Arch, and like that.
Well, apparently
I like that.
Auburn's really good wide receiver hopped in the portal, and he's wanting to go to Texas.
Jump on in. Let's Porter on over.
He's doing a visit here soon. So.
Yeah, Porter on over. I think it'll be good. But, yeah, New Year's Eve, I don't understand why people stay up till midnight.
Well, that's when the new year starts.
I know, but it's going to be the new year when I get up.
It's true, but
yeah, me and Tracy went home. I think I did stay close till midnight. Tracy went to bed about 10:30, and I was watching a football game.
You notice we had the ball drop up on the TV. Do you notice they didn't even show the ball drop this year?
I don't ever watch that, so I don't have a clue.
Well, we were watching. They just put the cameras on this countdown clock. You couldn't even see the ball. It's
wow, maybe it didn't light up or something.
I'm what the heck? So,
who knows?
I mean, I really wasn't paying attention. Most of the group had left before that happened.
Yeah, it's just too late. Let's go to bed.
All the girls went home. I think the only girls that were still in the house were my friends' wives who weren't bridesmaids, and they're staying in the married couple. We had a married couple house, bridesmaid house, and a groomsman house, and I was in the groomsman house even though I'm not a groomsman. So it was fun, though. I had a great time.
Yeah. Well, and then I was looking forward to seeing you Saturday night, and you just come into town and go straight not home.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted to go home. If I'm being honest, I was so tired.
So tired.
I just pretty much on the road the whole day because I stopped and saw Grandpa and Mimi, which was awesome. But it made for a very long day. I left at the Airbnb at 8, got to their house at 10, left at 2, got to Jasper around like 9.
Yep.
It was just a long day.
Yeah. Well, anytime you add, if you're doing a 7-hour trip and you add any stops, you've just made a long day.
Especially a 4-hour stop. So.
Yeah. I mean, and 7 hours is a long time. It's just a long time to be in a car.
But I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good seeing them.
I'm sure they were glad to see you.
Me and Mimi went to the Cracker Barrel.
I love the Cracker Barrel.
Had the weirdest waitress ever.
That happens.
But, yeah, so we want to dive into church stuff. I'm not sure what topics we're going to get into today.
Well, and if we're short today, we're short. It's a new year, so
kind of just see where the wind blows us.
See what happens. But, yeah, let's talk about Sunday school. In my Sunday school, things got crazy, potentially upset a few folks. It was good.
What happened?
Well, so I kind of just planned the conversation about New Year's resolutions, who's made them, who didn't, why do we make them, why do we not make them, just kind of ask some questions to get people talking was all my plan was for that day. Just get people talking about the new year and were they setting any goals, but then to really harp on, how about spiritual goals? Do you have any spiritual goals? Do you have any spiritual things you want to accomplish this year? And what does that look like? Have you even thought about it? That kind of thing. So just to challenge them, everybody goes, well, this year I want to lose weight, or this year I'm going to, fuss less, or this year so it's always something like that. And so I was just challenging them. Well, if we're going to make some kind of resolution, how about let's think spiritually. Let's think our walk with God. Let's think about where we're at spiritually. And so I wanted to get there, but then we got on to all kinds of crazy stuff. Like it took a hard left, and I didn't even do it. I'm an innocent victim. But we took a hard left, and we got on to all kinds of crazy stuff. We're talking about drinking alcohol, and we're talking about eating, and we're talking about dieting, and we're talking about, whether it's a sin or not a sin. And we got into some crazy stuff that people tend to be passionate about. And it was good. And the crazy part is we had a couple of visitors that were in there.
Oh, no.
So we may never see them again. Hopefully we will. But yeah, it was one of those deals where, some people, I think one of the issues were, food. We tend to say, okay, to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup, it's a sin. Well, I never said that eating a Reese's peanut butter cup is a sin. I'm just saying if I want to lose weight, eating a Reese's peanut butter cup isn't going to help me do that. So I didn't say it was a sin. I didn't say it was wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't help me to accomplish my goals if I eat those. I'm not going to accomplish my goals by eating a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know what I mean? And so that's all I was saying. But there are some people that have vilified, I think was the word that was used, vilified Reese's peanut butter cups, because they're bad. Well, I don't think they're bad. I just think if you have a goal and you're wanting to lose, 15, 20, 30 pounds, eating 3 or 4 Reese's peanut butter cups at night probably isn't going to be the thing that you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've ever vilified it, but an individual, and I'm not going to say names, but an individual said that they had made chocolate or sweets or whatever a sin, and made it bad, and made it, and I was like, wow, I don't think I've done that. I just know that, and maybe I've said that, well, that's a sin, but only because it keeps me from accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish.
Did you read that book I have, Mortification of Sin?
I have.
That's what that's reminding me, like just going to the extremes with how you view everything.
Yeah.
I think that's funny. But obviously he doesn't get into desserts in the book.
Well, so that's a good book. Who wrote that?
Oh, gosh. Some Puritan from a long time ago.
So Mortification of Sin.
It's a great book.
Great book. Get it. Read it. Come talk to us at church. We would love for you to see the book. It's a good book. I believe I've read it. Probably wouldn't hurt to read it again.
Kind of just has this, like, creating this mindset of being actually disgusted with any kind of sinful behavior. And because obviously the Puritans were very extreme with their ways of thinking and living and stuff. But I
think that's what that individual's point was. I've made eating sweets a sin, and it's not a sin. And I said, I get that. And so she vilified it. She made, let's just say, for instance, the Reese's cups, so that's what we've been talking about. They've made that Reese's cup a sin. when it's not a sin, it just keeps you from accomplishing the goals you may be trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I think this individual's point was sometimes we put sin on something that really isn't sin. It's just not wise. So then that's when I've taught this before. You've heard me teach this before. That's when I went back to, I think we need to get away from, is it right or wrong? And I think if it's right or wrong, well, then we have an answer. But there's a lot of things that aren't either right or wrong. So the better answer, the better question is it wise or unwise? And so is it wise for me to eat 4 Reese's Peanut Butter Cups every hour? Probably not. That's just not wise. Is it wise for me to drink a bottle of water? Yes. Mm-hmm. And so you can answer a lot of your questions, not whether they fall under right or wrong, sin or not sin, but you can answer a lot of your stuff. Is it wise for me to have, and I'm really jonesing for a Debbie snack for some reason, but to have a Debbie snack, I don't think it's bad to have a Debbie snack, but I think Debbie snacks may keep you from, if you're trying to lose weight and build muscle, Debbie snacks may keep you from accomplishing that. So anyhow, that's what we talked about. It went really good. Like I said, it went a little left on me. I didn't expect that.
I think that's good, though. That's how it should be.
And but it was, and we had a full house. Me and you had the 2 biggest Sunday schools, and so
take that, Randy.
Well, right. Well, and I think what happened with our older folks, we have a lot of sick older folks. There's a lot of folks that aren't feeling well, and so, but yeah, our class, we had a really, really good Sunday. And here's the reality: is if all the people that were sick would have been here, if they wouldn't have been sick, we had over 200 in the services. So man, I just think we'd have killed it if we wouldn't have had so many sick people.
Felt like there was a lot of visitors Sunday, which was
we did well.
Cool.
We had some visitors. The lady that owns Jasper Fitness, she was here. Christina.
Really?
Yeah, she was at church
didn't get
Sunday.
to meet her.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you didn't know her. I would have introduced
No, I've
you.
never met her. I've heard 1,000 stories about her, but I've never met her.
She was here. She'd been talking about coming. So Miss Carver, Judy Carver, goes for Silver Sneakers and has been inviting her. Well, of course, me and Tony and Hank and Brett.
Sneakers?
Yes, it's for older folks. They go and do a workout.
What a name. That's a great name.
It's a great name for people who are in their silver years. And so apparently Miss Judy Carver goes. And
I thought it was the golden years. Is silver before gold?
I don't know the rules on the plates.
Is silver just like kind of old?
I think Silver Sneakers is people with silver hair and they have on their tennis shoes and going and working out.
The golden girls, why wouldn't they be called the silver girls?
I don't know. Yeah, I think we're overthinking it. But anyhow, she was there. She brought her niece. That was good. Tony was there, and Tony was being mean to her. So she said today in the gym, she goes, I think I like watching you online better because then I don't have to see Tony. So she may never come to church again because Tony was being mean to her this morning. So about being at church. But I'm glad she was there. And then we had in the first service we had a visiting lady with her. I'm going to assume grandson. I don't know that for sure. And they were there.
I saw them.
Yeah. And so we, it was good. And then I don't know who that guy is that you're walking up with the youth room to, a visitor, I guess.
Yeah, so Mandy came up to me and said, I think it's her nephew. She said, my nephew's here. He's about the same age as he's a year younger than me. She said, is there any way he could just come to your class so that he's like at least with Aiden or something, so that he's not, by himself in an adult class or something. I said, yeah, he's more than welcome to join us, which is funny because him and Aiden didn't talk once.
That's funny.
And I don't even think they sat close to each other either.
Well, they didn't even sit by each other in church either.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I went up and started talking to him in here. She told me he's like an aspiring director or whatever, and I'm really into movies, so I started talking to him about that. We have the same favorite director. Okay. A lot of our favorite movies are the same, and I kind of was talking to him about the work that he does. He just directed a commercial for the college Marshall.
Okay,
He showed it to me, and it was so cool. And he's done a couple other projects as well. He's worked on some movies. Just this really cool guy, and for him to have already done all that much work, and he's only 20, he just flies all over and doing film stuff. And we kind of talked about like his creative process and stuff like that, and what the behind the scenes of filmmaking looks like. And it was really cool. I really enjoyed getting to know him, getting to talk to him. He's just was a great time. I'm glad Mandy introduced us. I had a lot of fun. I asked, I was like, do you have like an Instagram or something I can follow so I can keep up with projects you're working on and stuff? And he gave me his Instagram and his phone number. So,
oh, nice.
So pretty cool.
Very cool.
I really enjoyed having him and getting to know. His name's Carson. Super cool guy. Yeah. And hopefully get to see more of his stuff that he's working on because he is a very talented dude.
Nice. Well, and then Brittany and Shannon, they've been bringing a couple in the first service as well.
Yeah.
Sits down front with them. And I don't know if they're just visiting from out of town or if I think they're family, but I don't know where they're from. But not only did they come to the first service, they came to Sunday school, and he was even engaging and having a conversation in Sunday school, which I thought was really good.
Jonah also came to Sunday school, but then he stayed for second service.
He stayed for second service without his family.
Cool.
That's what I said. I said, thank you for staying. I know your family's not here, but I appreciate you staying. He goes, yeah, man.
That's
so
pretty cool. I guess cool. If you don't want to get up that early anymore, might as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go to church. I'll just
go to the second service. Yeah. I'll sit by myself.
I think that.
Well, and I was thinking, why don't you just come sit with me or something?
Well, and I almost told him, hey, go sit by Keagan, but I didn't know. I didn't know.
Or like Tucker was right in front of me. He could have sat with him. Like, he knows all of us.
Yeah, go sit with them.
I guess
I'm glad he came to Sunday
school. A good
school.
old Baptist has their seat, and they stay in their seat.
Yeah, Baptists do tend to sit even if they're all by themselves. Yeah. They tend to do it.
Super funny. Well, my Sunday school class, we were in Luke chapter 4.
4?
And get this. I wrote some stuff down.
All right,
so I'm not
we're ready.
fumbling.
This podcast is going to be smooth.
Obviously, the week before, we talked about Jesus' baptism and his ministry of substitution, and then this week we're...
So do you think John the Baptist ever got baptized?
I would assume.
Huh?
So we were talking the other day about whether or not, like, because there was a guy at that house we were staying at, he's Orthodox Catholic.
Oh, okay.
And he was at first putting on this idea that, like, you have to be baptized to go to heaven. But then I brought up the other guy on the cross, and he backpedaled and was like, no, you're right. It's not necessary because God can make anything happen. And for the most part, I was agreeing with everything he's saying, but then he got into the Eucharist, and I was like...
I don't even know what that is.
Basically, they believe that communion is more than just a metaphor for remembering Christ. It physically becomes his flesh and blood within you. And I said,
That's
like,
gross.
while it's in your mouth, he said, no, it's like after you swallow it, then it becomes that. And
That's disgusting.
Like, I said, you don't think that there's maybe a chance it could just be metaphorical? And he goes, that doesn't make sense. But it turning into real flesh and blood does. Anyways, but other than that, we seem to agree on most stuff.
Tragically transforms as it hits your belly.
Yeah, it was confusing for me to hear how much stuff we agreed on. And like...
Well, and that's the truth. This was a lot of things. It's incredible that many, many times you'll sit down and talk with somebody. It's usually just a few small things. Some of them are big things, but then some of them are just, whether...
it's like, man, whether or not this bread and grape juice turns into blood and flesh is something that is causing us to go to two completely different churches and have completely different like identities in our faith. Something silly like that. Like I feel like that's something we could look past.
So do they believe that you have to do communion every week to be saved?
The way he explained it is, I thought it was like that, but then he said not necessarily. But he said he does believe that there's sanctification that takes place through the communion process.
I got you.
Like there's a spiritual...
So the more you do it, the more sanctified you get.
No, I don't think so. But he does believe that there's like a spiritual cleansing that takes place within it. It just depends on the way you approach it. And I said, because he said, do you do it just because... And he said, because like a lot of Baptists only do it like once a year. But I know like Willie D's church is a Baptist church. They do it every week. And there's a heavier spiritual emphasis on it. There's a church we went to, I'm not going to say which one, they also do it every week, but I felt like there was no spiritual emphasis on it at all. It was just a checklist.
That's my fear of doing it that would be my fear of doing it every week. My fear of doing it every week would be, it was just another checklist. Yeah. Hey, we did it,
So, and I was against it until I heard Willie D explaining it and how it goes down at their church. And I really want to go visit Willie D's church one day because it sounds like really cool the way that they approach things. Like they even go to the length of like what the Bible says. Like if there's someone that's outwardly living in sin, the church asked him to separate himself from the church until he gets that figured out and come back.
Which is biblical.
But,
that's biblical.
But to see a church still following that is crazy to me, because obviously humans today are going to reject that whole idea and process. Because, I mean, that's like especially in a world where people are like victim card with church hurt, which I saw a video the other day that made me laugh. It was like this guy walking through a hallway at school and everybody's saying hi to him, and he's like ignoring them, and he goes, "They all hated me." It says average church hurt. Like people just making problems out of nothing. But anyways.
That's the devil.
Yeah, just Willie D's church seems really cool, and I want to look into it. He says that they're just a Baptist church, but they still follow, those biblical ways of church.
Well, we should. I mean, we were told to do that.
And another thing I was talking with Adam about that he thought was interesting is, like, in the early church, a full-blown sermon was rare. Like that was like special occasion thing. It was more every week a group coming together and having like a conversational thing. It wasn't one guy getting up and speaking to a big crowd, but it was more in the form of like how Jesus taught in like groups, and the floor was open for conversation and stuff. And every now and then you got a full-blown sermon. So it's just weird how much the church has changed.
Yeah.
And
well, for me, that's what I love about our Sunday school, because our Sunday school typically is, here's the topic, here's what I want to say, but then there becomes a lot of
yeah.
The only thing is with the discussion is a lot of people, instead of, hey, this is what the Bible says, they turn to, this is what I think. And the reality is, I don't care what you think. What I care about is what does the Bible say? Yeah. Because our feelings and thoughts and all that kind of thing are important, but not more important than what God's word says.
Right.
And so for me, that's, so there'll be a lot of people go, well, I just don't feel like, but, and you're just like, well, I don't, and that sounded really cruel to say, I don't care, but the reality is, what does the Bible say?
Right.
And so that is the danger of opening up and every week everybody just sharing their feelings and their thoughts. But I think it's also
good,
healthy,
because if
though.
those people don't talk through that, they don't get corrected and they stay feeling that way.
Exactly.
They need someone to be like, hey, that's not biblically accurate. I wish the teens were more open to conversational based stuff. And it's not like, I mean, they're engaged and a lot of them are taking notes and they ask questions afterwards. But if I were to ask one of them to share their thoughts mid-lesson, there's no way that they're doing it, except for maybe the Marcinko girls.
Yeah.
Everybody else, there's no way we could get them to just start talking.
Every now and then in our class, I'll throw out something and you can tell they're thinking and they haven't thought about it, and I'll just let them sit on it for a minute. Awkward silence.
I hate that. I can't do it, though.
But listen, there's power in that, because it forces people to go, oh, crap, what is he talking about? Okay, let me engage my brain here.
Well, in my head, it's like, even if they're thinking through it, still, if no one's talking right now, that means no one's going to talk. And we're going to sit here quietly.
No, eventually
forever,
someone talks. Every time.
But not with teenagers.
Every time someone talks.
Anyways, let me get back to Sunday school, because...
Sorry, you derailed, not me.
No, I said... Jesus got baptized, and you cut me off, and you said, do you think John the Baptist ever got baptized?
You still never answered that question.
I had just started. I did answer it.
What was the answer?
I said, I believe so. It would make sense.
Who do you think baptized
But you're saying, see, this is what you're doing. Like I let you go through your Sunday school spiel. I heard the whole thing before I opened my mouth.
I just had one question, that's all.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Obviously, chapter 4 is where Jesus has this moment where he's getting baptized, then immediately removes himself, goes into the wilderness, and this is where Satan comes and tempts him. And we kind of start off by talking about the importance of, usually a spiritual high is immediately followed by a spiritual low. Jesus was just baptized. God affirms him as his son. Big, huge moment. And now he's in the desert, hasn't eaten for 40 days. He's starving, and now he's face to face with Satan. We kind of just talked about how a spiritual high is almost always followed by a spiritual low, because every time God does something big in your life, Satan's most likely going to be right behind him trying to derail that. And then we just kind of talked about 3 things that Satan tries to do within your spiritual life. The first thing we had is he tries to get you to prioritize the gifts of God over God himself. I don't know what's going on. I think I might have messed up the audio right there. Anyways, number 2, to pursue a right thing in the wrong way. And number 3, to interpret God's intentions for you by your circumstances rather than his promises. And that third one's the one we focused on kind of the most. And then I kind of left him with the question, like, what is your faith dependent on, going back to point number 3, and thinking through, like, okay, well, when do I tend to be close with God? Is it when things are going good? I know some people that only pray and have a good relationship with God when life's good, but then I also know people that only pray and have a good relationship with God when things are going bad. And you mentioned last Sunday how some people, the only times they ever pray is when things are going bad and there's stuff going on. And so we kind of try to leave them with that question, something to roll over this week is, what is your faith dependent on? Are you relying on God throughout every season of life, or just when things are at one side or the other? And the other thing we talked about kind of in the beginning, one of the things Satan said every time he would throw a new temptation at Jesus, he would say, if you really are the Son of God, and obviously this is happening right after God affirms him as his son, with whom he is well pleased. We talked about this idea of how Satan's going to try to put a question mark where God's already put a period. And this idea of fully having your identity in who God says you are, and not in these doubts that creep in and try to derail you, and take away what God's already affirmed you in. But yeah, and then that's pretty much it. We just wrapped up chapter 4, heading on to chapter 5 now.
Chapter 5.
Now you may speak.
I have nothing to say.
Wow. You got nothing now?
Nothing. When a question comes into my brain, I feel like I should ask it.
I know. The second you asked the question, my first thought was Aunt Debbie just turned off the podcast if she was listening.
She probably does.
She, I don't know if we've mentioned on the podcast, but she told us that we can't stay on a topic.
This is my sister.
Without jumping to another one and rambling about that for a while. And then we go back to that topic. So
she says she has a hard time keeping up with us.
Old Deborah. So pretty cool, though, that Deborah and Rebecca listen.
Yes, we do have some family folks that listen, Grandma and Grandpa, and Mimi and Grandpa, and Debbie and Nicole, and the Powers, and so yeah, I think that's awesome.
Now, I'd like to give a quick shout out to somebody. I don't know if it was just one person. I know Miss Sheila brought them down, but I don't know if Miss Box asked her to. Shout out those ladies, though, because me and Dad now have these trumpet things that are the loudest, most obnoxious noise you've ever heard in your life.
They're pretty bad.
And it's so fun, and I'm very excited about it. When we first got here, Dad was blowing in two at the same time, and I was blowing mine in my office, and my ears were just ringing. They're so loud. But I'm very excited about that. So thank you to them, because that's exciting.
We're excited about little things.
And you got a deer this past week, right?
New Year's Day, New Year's morning.
Pretty exciting stuff.
Been chasing him for a little while, and missed him on one occasion, and didn't think I was ever going to get another chance at him. And so I've been hunting pretty hard for him and looking for him. In fact, one time, me and you were out there hunting, and Miss Julie said how he's out here standing in the driveway. So he was...
That was him, that picture?
That was him. That's him. Yep, mocking us. And so we've got him on trail cam, and we've, like I said, he came across one day really, really quick, and I shouldn't have shot, but I did. And obviously I missed him and thought, well, that was my chance, and now it's lost and it's gone. And Thursday morning, he was standing out there way on the far side of the hill and gave me a good shot. I dropped him where he stood, and now we got a bunch of fresh deer meat, so that's good.
Sweet.
I'm excited
Love
about it. Yeah, no. We're going to add another deer, another set of horns to the office wall. I'm starting to get a few up there now. I like it. And so, no, it's good. It's good. I'm excited, and it was very exciting. The crazy thing is, though, for people who've never been deer hunting or interested in it or whatever, and you've got, a decent deer standing there and you pull the trigger on it, the adrenaline dump is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Crazy. Even if you miss, it's crazy. The adrenaline dump is nuts. So you have to process through the adrenaline dump, and man, I'm literally just sitting there just shaking. It's that bad. And I don't know if everybody else is that way, and I may be the only one, but holy cow, it's bonkers. It's bonkers.
I mean, if something walks in before, like you want to identify it to see if it's a shooter or not. Usually as something's walking in, before I can tell if it's good or not, the adrenaline already starts.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
And I'm already shaking. And then I'll look at it and go, it's a spike. And then I chill out a little bit and then can kind of be calm and watch it. But I've only shot 3 deer in my life, and every single one, I'm just sitting there shaking like a dog. And then you're like, you're supposed to wait a little bit so you don't push it farther into the woods. But then you're like, man, I got to get out of the stand before I shake myself to death.
I got to go see this thing. So what I did was, after I shot him, I wanted him to sit for a minute. So I gathered up all my stuff and walked all the way back to the truck and put everything in the truck. Caught my breath, did that kind of a deal, and got the adrenaline to kind of ease. And then, of course, then it was a walk all the way down the hill. It was quite a ways. So then by the time I got to him, I was nice and calm. And my fear was that I had missed again, and so that then becomes a big fear, right? But then I walked up there, and he didn't even take another step. He was laying right there, right where I shot him. So
well, good.
Cool.
Did you get him in the spine?
Maybe. That one thing is my shot was a little higher than I would have liked.
Well, the good thing about spine shots, though, is they drop right there.
He dropped.
They're not going nowhere.
It was a good exit hole. That 308, though, man, it has a hair trigger. That's the 2 deer I've shot with that 308. Both times I'm ready to pull the boom. Holy
just goes off before you're ready.
Yeah, man. Well, and obviously I touched the trigger, and I'm just putting my finger on it. But it's one of those. But I think that maybe be good for me because then now
it's less time to think about it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. And so, but yeah, with those both those deers, that 308s dropped them both.
My 6.5 Creedmoor, you kind of got to get it back a little bit. It's more of a squeeze than just a touch.
Gotcha. Well, maybe that's why I missed him. I don't know. It was your gun's fault.
No, definitely the shooter's fault. Because I guess I've only shot 1 deer with that gun, but I'm 1 for 1 with the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Gotcha.
Not just 1 for 1. I mean, I murdered that deer.
Yeah.
He had blood everywhere. Anyways, people don't want to hear about that.
People probably don't want to hear about that. But anyhow,
Moving
I'm thankful. I had hunted pretty hard. I was pretty discouraged, and I was ready to quit hunting. I was done, discouraged, and over it. And then he walked out a little bit after 9 o'clock and said, "If you want to do it, now's the time." And I said, "Okay."
I'm still done, discouraged, and over it. I didn't get one this year.
Yeah. Well, so Miss Julie sent me a video of 4 of them running across the thing.
Can't believe you're leaking that.
Just saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm just done this year.
That happens. It happens. You can be tired of going.
I think I hunted more this year than I ever have in a year in this season. With from turkey to deer, and
Gotcha.
I think I just did a lot.
Right.
I'm ready to chill for a bit. I don't remember the last time I got to sleep in. So
same here. Yeah, no.
That's the bad part about deer season. Your one day that you sleep in is on Saturday. Well, not when you're hunting.
No. You're up just as earlier and going. I did sleep in, and listen, this is crazy. Friday morning, I slept in till 8 o'clock. Crazy. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. It was. I was like, I don't know what's happening in my life, but I'm going to do it. But even all the last 2 weeks, you don't have to get up. You don't have to drive a bus. I've been up at 5 every morning. I'm up and ready to go. Mm-hmm. So might as well go deer hunting.
Well, we can dive into main service. I did want to mention something in worship because I appreciate this. I was worried. Second service, that last song we were playing, I got really into it for some reason, and I started getting carried away. But I noticed Miss Cater was joining me.
Okay.
And she was matching me, and it was awesome. I had so much fun. There's one part, I get real quiet when she's doing this verse, and then I do this loud fill. And as I'm doing this loud fill, I can hear her getting it. And she starts building with me. And then I hit it, and I'm jamming. I look over, she's rocking too. And I was having a ton of fun. And then afterwards, she came up to me, and she was like, I had so much fun playing with you today. And I was like, well, I'm glad I got someone that's matching me because that was a blast.
That was awesome.
So I love that she's playing now, and it's a whole lot of fun. I think worship's sounding so much more full, and she's definitely had a huge impact on.
Well, it's incredible, especially for a lot of those hymns and stuff. A piano just brings so much to the table.
Yeah.
It just and man, I'm not knocking the rest. What it does is it just makes our sound complete.
Yeah.
Which is good. You
Well,
know?
I mean, you take away any instrument
That's what
that's
I'm
up
saying.
there, and there's a big hole.
Yeah.
And so for us not having a piano for so long, there's been a big hole for a long time. Although the rest of the band's there, and they're all very good.
Right. If we could add an electric guitar player,
Yeah.
dude, we'd be
And a steel
fantastic.
guitar.
Oh, I would love a steel
I want
guitar.
a steel
and,
guitar so bad.
Clark Bozier has a steel guitar from time to time,
And it's awesome.
Man, it is
It's awesome.
Yeah, that guy is awesome. So, but yeah, no, the music was great. A good set, and I really love all the people that are committed to playing, and the piano was just a nice addition to that. So I'm grateful that she's willing to do that, because it's a commitment. You know, you have to come to both services. You have to be here at 8:00. That's early on Sunday, and then you're here from 8 till afternoon. You know, so 12:15, 12:30. So that's a long time, and so that's a big commitment for folks. And I appreciate, you know, Andy and Jeff and Haley and you, and well, you didn't get here on time at 8, but anyhow, and all the ladies that sing and all the people that participate. I'm grateful.
I was talking to Miss Cater about that. She has struggled with what I'm recently started struggling with, this turning my alarm off in my sleep. She apparently has done that her whole life.
How do you turn? I don't get how you turn your alarm
I don't know,
off in your sleep. I don't understand.
I'll wake up and it's well past when I have my alarm set for it, and I'll freak out and I'll go, my alarm never went off, and I'll look and it's pulled up, so I know I had woken up, not woken up, but I have opened my phone and turned off the alarm and turned my phone back off.
That's crazy.
It doesn't make sense. I haven't ever done that in the past. I don't know why that's starting to be an occurrence, but it's starting to drive me crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's always bad when people are like, is Keagan coming today? I go, well, he should be, but I don't know where he's at.
So this morning, last night when I went to bed at like 8 because I'm so exhausted from this trip, and then church was a long day. Me and Haley and Emma Grace went out and were doing stuff immediately after church, so I didn't get a nap. But what I did is I put my phone on the other side of the room to plug it in and set the alarm. So when it went off this morning, I had to get out of bed to turn it off, and that
helps.
Worked great. I was here 10 minutes early.
I saw that. I was like, whoa, man, he is overachieving today.
Yeah,
so
it's whatever.
I was pleased.
That just means I'm leaving 10 minutes earlier.
Well, that's fine.
I'm just kidding. No,
Fine.
I'll be here all day.
All day. Today's the day.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, and then we talked about worry, which is
it's a big one for me and you.
That's a hard thing to just sit down and give to the Lord, I say that attitude means I don't think God can take care of it, and maybe so, but man, some people are just have a natural bent to worry, and I think I'm that. I think you may be that, and we overthink, overanalyze, and worry about things that. And I've gotten better, honestly, as I've gotten older. Either I've gotten better, or I trust the Lord more, or I'm just lazy. I haven't figured that part out yet.
I think it's Jonathan Pokluda that says where you worry most is where you trust God least.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Like, dang.
Yeah.
One of those things you don't want to hear, because obviously a lot of times the worry you can't help. It's just your brain's a hard thing to control.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought that book we just read by Kyle Adamson was really good, because it touches on that. Like when these thoughts come in, replacing these wayward thoughts with biblical truth, and just resetting that and having yourself rooted in that and trusting God kind of helps backtrack that. But a lot of times it's easier said than done.
Well, and I think it's something you have to remind yourself, hey, we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got to say, all right, you're not going there. We're not doing that. And so I have to remind myself. And I think it's interesting how the last two messages have been really good to end a year and start a year. That obviously was not planned. I'm not smart enough to plan that. But God's awesome in how he planned that. And I had a lot of people that came up and, they worry as well, and we're very complimentary, and yeah, man, I even had several people go, hey, me and you are a lot alike, and so there are more people that worry than we know, and it's one of those things I think Satan uses to keep us from doing and accomplishing and being what God wants us to be. And so for me, a lot of my worries is relationship stuff, people in the church and, conversations and relationships and different things that have happened. And I'll tend to overanalyze.
Because people say and do things and not realize the way it comes across.
Yeah.
And for guys like me and you that'll take it and rabbit hole to, we're all the way at the extreme of things.
Yeah.
Just over this little interaction. That's why I think it's important to, for me, it's healthy for me to just go up to people and say, hey, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, where are we at?
I need to know what your goal was with that. Like, am I freaking out for no reason? Did I just completely misread that? Or are you really being a butt? And if you are being a butt,
well, at least now I know.
Does it really matter to me still, though?
Right.
Is it really as big of a deal as when I'm making it?
Right. Well, and I think sometimes I make and I think, of course, you say you don't blame the devil, whatever. But I think sometimes I make things way worse than what they really are. And so then I have now complicated the situation more than it had to be because I've made it into something that it just isn't, so I do that. And I feel like I'm getting better. And then you'll have a moment of weakness and go, well, you've not gotten any better at all. So it just kind of depends on where you're at and what's happening, the situation.
Well, I think that's healthy that it happens that way, because the second you start thinking, hey, man, I've got control of this thing, you stop relying on God. And that's something I was talking to about with one of my friends. He's in ministry. He's doing church plants and stuff. And in this church plant that he's at right now, he's saying, look, I'm hardly making any money, and my wife doesn't work. And so he said, we've had to experience this whole new level of reliance on God and saying, like, okay, well, if this is what God has me doing and I'm confident in that, then I can be confident that he's going to take care of my needs. And he said, but even that, like, he said, I feel like if God had made this to where I was doing great financially, I wouldn't have this newfound dependence on him. And he said, I'm almost thankful for the struggle because I wouldn't be this close with God, this dependent on God, and this, like, just in tune with his plan for my life if there wasn't a struggle. Yeah. And I thought that was a really profound way of looking at it. Like, he thanks God for his financial issues because of how close it's gotten him to him and showing him this new way of being dependent on God. And I think that's really, really cool. So I had a lot of really cool conversations like that this past week, and that's why I really love getting together with that friend group, because they're all in different ministry. Like, we all have such different roles in our churches, and we're all scattered across America, so we all have such different experiences and perspectives on these things that we're going through and dealing with, and it's always fun to get together and share all that. And so it's really cool to see, because I've got a friend who's doing a church plant in L.A. right now, and just, man, hearing his experiences, because obviously L.A. is a whole new world compared to Jasper, and just seeing the way that his church has to go about things compared to the way our church goes about things, it's just super cool, and I love getting to hear all that. And so,
but it's also encouraging sitting down with a group of guys like that to know, because sometimes you feel like, well, I'm the only one, and I'm the only one with these struggles or these thoughts or these, and then you sit down with these guys and you're like, hey, man, they're going through a lot of the same stuff I go through, and in fact, some of the stuff they're going through is even harder than what I'm going through, and so it really helps you to sit back and get a good perspective on stuff.
For sure. Well, and because, like, it's not like I have good Christian friends here, but none of my friends here are in ministry.
Right.
So I can have good Christian, God-like conversations with these people, but as far as, having somebody else in ministry to lean on, I mean, I've got you.
Yeah.
Which is good. And, like, I'm so thankful
I get it,
for
and
that.
I'm your dad, so I get that.
But
I get that.
It's also kind of hard to complain, not really complain, but, like, vent about stuff.
When I'm what you want to vent about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, like, but you are my boss.
Right.
And so
I wish you treated me that way.
It's a very weird dynamic, father/boss.
Right.
And,
got the best boss
and
in the
I
world.
do get to talk to you about a lot of stuff, and it's a really cool resource to have, because I think, like, man, if I'm in another church, I doubt I would be talking to the pastor this much.
Right.
And so it's a cool relationship and dynamic, but there's something about having someone your age that's, not saying you're not my friend, but
I get that.
You're like pushing 60.
Whoa, no, not even close, but that's fine. Wow. Wow.
And so, but like having
No,
guys,
I get it though.
because they're in the same, it's not just same position, but they're also in the same season of life as me. And that's the difference.
Same financial, the same early struggles, the same,
and although you've been in this season of life, having someone that's currently, because I don't know, something about relating to someone in that moment, like, okay, we're both currently going through this together.
Sure.
Let's talk through this and figure out. And there's something different about that I really enjoy. And so I enjoy both sides. I like talking to you, hearing the experiences that you went through in the past, 50 years ago, and hearing about these guys. Yeah, we're both currently going through this. Let's talk about that. And then I think guys like Brendan, he's married and has a kid that's just over a year old.
Good
and
grief.
They're at a church plant. They're doing a church plant in Dawsonville, Georgia, and hearing like, okay, well, he's like a few steps ahead of me where I'm at right now, and hearing his experiences, what he's struggling with, and I'm like, man, my struggles don't look that bad right now. Right. I mean, he's got a wife and a kid and church hurt.
Yeah.
Not church hurt, but church like struggles.
Yeah. Church issues.
I just have the church struggles. I don't have a wife or a kid. He's just got a, and so it's just interesting, and it's fun talking to all those different guys, especially all the different roles. Like I have a friend who's a discipleship pastor in Indiana, and hearing what that role looks like. One of them's a family pastor, hearing what that looks like. Of course, we're all from the ages of 20 to 27, I think was the oldest guy there, and so there's so many different walks of life that we're all right there.
Well, a lot happens in 7 years, right?
Sure.
Especially when you're in your 20s. From 20 to 27, man, a lot can take place in that.
So that's why it's
time.
cool talking with those guys. And we would sit outside the screen and porch, and there's like 15 of us, and we're all living similar lives, but it's all so different. And I don't know, I really enjoy getting together with them and having those kind of conversations, because they don't shy away from conversations like that. I mean, even the first night, we're sitting there on the back porch just talking, laughing, being silly, and Brendan stops and he says, hey, let's all go around and share what kind of like impact Andy's had on our life, spiritual impact. And hearing all these guys, like a lot of them were his roommates in college, and saying like, man, I didn't know what quiet time was until I was a roommate with Andy.
Really?
And,
wow.
Although I didn't have that experience with Andy, because we both were already further along in our faith when we met, he did have like an impact on me at camp, a huge impact on me at camp, just not in a spiritual sense.
Yeah.
But seeing how cool it was for young men to be having conversations like that. Like, hey, you had an impact on my life, and I want to make sure you know that. And, I want to do this right now. And I thought it was cool that, Brendan doesn't shy away from conversations like that. And he wants to start conversations like that. And, it was a really sweet, like emotional moment, which is rare for young guys to have together. And so I thought it was really cool.
Well, very rarely do you have a young guy that'll say, hey, man, you mean a lot to me, and here's why.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, they feel that, but they've never even really thought about that to go, hey, man, he is a good guy, and he really means a lot to me. But they do. They've just never really thought about that, or never fleshed it out in words. Yeah. So then to have a guy like that to say, hey, let's think about that, I guarantee you guys started thinking. And then as you're thinking, I guarantee you after y'all were done, there were several guys that were thinking, well, and there was also this time and this, and they think of, well, I should have said this, and I should have, I could have said this. And so I think that those are healthy conversations that a lot of guys your age aren't having. So I think that's good.
And of course, we wake up the next morning, like 9 o'clock, we're on the screened-in porch and having like deep theological debates and stuff. And it was like, man, friends like this are so cool.
Yeah, no.
Like I think it's
healthy. I think it's healthy to have those conversations,
But it's just so hard because we all live in different states. And so we don't get to all get together like that often. Now, for a while, they were all going to Liberty. So it was just a 6-hour drive, and I was with the majority of them. But, a lot of people from South Carolina, there's people in Virginia, there's people in Kentucky, people in Indiana, people in California, people in Georgia. There was people in Florida. We're just all over. Yeah. And so it's a special time. And I'm worried about the day when, there's no more weddings and we're not all getting together like that anymore. Because obviously, if we all have wives and kids, stuff gets difficult. And creating stuff like that, it's just hard, and it doesn't, work out the way we hope it does.
That's what happens as you get old.
Yeah. Man, for not having any topics, we crushed it.
Well, I do want to talk about Wednesday night real quick.
We didn't have Wednesday night.
I'm going to talk about this coming up Wednesday night real quick.
Something special happening?
Yeah, we're kicking off our
hear
Wednesday nights. So Wednesday night kicks back off this Wednesday night, folks. 6 o'clock we eat. 6:30, kids and youth start, and they go an hour and a half. But also celebrate recovery.
That's Tuesday.
Financial Peace University. Peace University. But they're going to start at 6:30 as well. So you don't get to sit around and chit-chat. And so you need to come in at 6. You need to eat and then get to your class at 6:30 because it's going to take an hour and a half for y'all to get through all your materials. And if you want to be a part of that, you say, well, Chad, I want to be a part of that, but I don't have the money or whatever. Come talk to me privately. We'll figure out something. But, hey, we want y'all to be a part of that class. It'll help you financially. It'll change your life if you're willing to work the system. The system's good, but you've got to work the system. So I'm excited about that. And then Miss Denise is doing a ladies' Bible study, and I'm doing a men's Bible study. The men, we're going to look at Joseph. And so I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great Wednesday night, and I'm hoping we have 120 people here. And so, hey, invite somebody to come. And I'm excited about what the youth are going to do this winter, spring, and what y'all all have plans and the activities you have coming up. And I'm excited about just what the next 4 or 5 months look like. So y'all come and be a part. If you can be there Wednesday night, we'd love to have you come be a part. We have a space for you. We have something for everybody. So everybody's included. We want y'all to be a part of it. So I'm glad we're kicking back off. I enjoy having the 2 weeks off, but I'm also ready to kick back off and get going.
Wednesday nights are a blast.
It's a good time of just really good fellowship, good time of growing spiritually.
Great classes, great teachers. If you're a lady, Miss Denise rocks.
Miss Denise does a fantastic job.
I want to come check that out. If you maybe that could be your New Year's resolution this year. Hey, I'm going to get serious about showing up to Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Which I have a theory, though, if you're listening to the podcast, you probably already come on Wednesday nights. I doubt that there's any,
well, Debbie's not coming. Grandpa's not coming.
I'm saying I doubt there's newer people that are checking out the podcast if they're not already.
Well, if you're not, hopefully if you are, you'll come check us out on Wednesday night.
Come see what all we got to offer.
Come see what's happening, man. We'd love to have you. And then I've had several of the folks come to me, several of our college students come to me Sunday, say, hey, when y'all kicking back off college? So we need to sit down and talk about that and figure out what we're going to do for our college students, because I did have 2 Sunday ask me about it.
Jacob and Sam?
No, Sam and Tucker.
Tucker, really nice.
Yeah, Tucker and Sam. They want to know, which is good. I'm glad they want to know. So we need to figure out what we're going to do. So we need to have a meeting and discuss what we want to do with our college age students. So,
well, sweet. Hey, coming up on an hour.
We're here.
Appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. Catch y'all next week. Hope to see you guys this Wednesday.
See you. Bye.